I cannot wait. It's going to be amazing.
And I'm going to throw this Corsair and the headset in the trash and never look back.
How are we doing now, chat room? What's life like?
Testing.
Hey.
Hello. I always talk loud anyway. I'm naturally just a big talker. And Barf always has that booming voice.
Booming. It's because I'm sick.
Help us out, chat room.
I'm trying to get sick enough that I sound like Dr. Girlfriend from Venture Brothers. That's the goal.
Oh my goodness.
That's who I want to sound like.
That's a good goal.
Yeah.
Okay, chat room's not going to tell us. Oh, okay, Ash. Okay, cool.
Ash, you're the best.
Thank you, Ash.
Tolpian said good.
Oh, yes, okay. Sal is... I will lower than Barf? Okay, but I generally just talk a lot louder, and I'm never... Okay, that... If it's 5%, I'll take it. It was hurting my ears when I was editing it, if I'm honest.
Cool. Well, I'm ready to get started. Let's switch to the intro screen. And so you, Tamen, you are going to hear the intro music. The mic is still hot, though, so don't say anything until after we do the introduction, okay? We're going to go live in... There we go. We're going to go live in 5, 4, 3...
You're listening to the Converted Podcast, the podcast about the Guild Convert to Raid on Airy Peak, US.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 123 of the Converted Podcast, the World of Warcraft podcast all about the Convert to Raid Guild on Airy Peak, US. Today is March 5th, 2018. It's about 6:30 Airy Peak local time. Thank you very much for joining us. Sal, what's going on this week?
In this episode, we have Tamen from Threat Level Midnight, your converted shoutouts, T and Echelon give you the raid haps, and dat new BG, yo!
That's right. Welcome to the show for the 4th or 5th or 12th time. It's Tamen. What's going on, man?
Hi. How are all of you?
Doing pretty great, man.
I'm well. Thanks for asking.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. I am Bartholomew, the Potent Pal. This is from last week. You can't trick me twice. The Potent Paladin of Power and Propriety. And with me tonight is the Salacious Shaman of Storm and Static. It's Sal Mises. What's up?
Well, hi. Do you know what I did all weekend long? I just chain ran Seething Shore.
Nice.
Like, legit, I just one after the other. You guys know I'm not a huge PvPer. That BG is fun. And I drug Barf for a few of them, too.
Yeah, they were good. It's good. It's a good, fun fight. Get up
it's
in there.
Fast. You know, all I got to say is rocket parachutes. Right?
I've heard it's great. I have not had a chance to actually get into it yet. I've heard it's
it's a lot of fun.
I've heard it's good.
Yeah, I can't. We're gonna get it pretty soon as a regular battleground. It was a brawl last weekend, and
Right.
Goodness gracious, it was like 5 or 7 minutes long for each for each one. You know, you could lose, you can win, whatever. Either way, you're gonna get a bunch of honor. I found myself winning about half the time, which is perfect. And rocket parachutes, dude. That's it. That's
Cool.
that's it.
I'll have to
T,
check
you
that
would
out.
love it. It's basically PUBG in World of Warcraft.
Awesome. I'm going to have to get on it.
You jump off the sky boat like they have them, and you parachute down, and you can like rocket boost you to a spot. And there's like 6 or 7 nodes that like Azerite comes up out of the ground, and you got to mine the thing. But if the Horde comes running up and hits you with hammers and such, they interrupt the cast. So you have to like protect the point so someone can gather the thing, and then everyone else is fighting, and you have to gather enough resources to win. And like Sal was saying, it's a quick fight. You're in and out. You queue up for the next one. It was a good time. By the way, I introduced her without introducing her. With us is again last week's thing. I'm just kidding. The terrific time bomb of terror in Twilight. It's Turarts. What's going
I
on?
am doing lovely. No, it's been a good 2 weeks. I got back into the streaming gig because life has been crazy since the beginning of the year. Did some PUBG because it's an easy game to play and talk to the audience. So that's been good. I finally did the last of the hide and seeks for prizes, so it was fun. CTR Guild, thanks for participating and coming and finding me. And we learned a lot about zoning in the game, and zoning in the game is still pretty hardcore.
Mhm.
But no, it was tons of fun to give away stuff just randomly. And now we are officially done with the 5 year and getting ready to prep and plan for the Kickstarter. So that's
the
going to be
CTR
super
party, that's
exciting.
right.
Yep.
God,
Yeah.
already? Is it already?
Oh,
that
it's just
time?
a cycle. Yeah, it is. I'm expecting them to announce BlizzCon probably within the next 4 weeks.
Sounds about right.
They
Sure.
generally announce it in April. Yeah. All right.
But so yeah, it's been a good week.
Jeez.
Of just randomness, and that's always great and always fun. But guys, you still have time to get us those chat room shout outs. So you know what to do. Tweet us at at converted_CTR, and we will definitely read them out during the show. But Bartholomew, what have you been up to the past 2 weeks?
Like you, I've been doing some streaming. I've been playing a lot of Heroes of the Storm recently. I decided, you know what? I know I'm not great at this game, but it doesn't matter because there is a place on the ladder for everybody. So I jumped into Hero League, and I'm
Oh wow. Okay.
proving
Wow.
to the world that I need to improve my game. I'm straddling the bronze 3 to bronze 4 level. So like I'm pretty much bottom of the barrel there. But like it's made you it makes you think about what your flaws are and what the best ways to improve your own game are, because there's no way to stop the Tychus who just stands under the enemy turrets and dies. There's no way to deal with that. Like I can't affect that. What I can affect is, am I paying better attention to the minimap this game than I was last game? Am I reporting to the objectives on time? That sort of thing. So that's been my main focus in video games recently. That, and I'm still leveling up my Void Elf, because, man, like you were talking about gaining all that honor goes into transmog, and now, I need many classes to have many great transmogs with. So that's been my, also I feel a little sick, but that's fine. Besides
yeah,
the point.
you've been sick.
A little bit of a cold. Nothing really.
Are you getting any better?
Yeah.
Good. I'm
Getting better.
glad to hear that.
Getting better. But now, on to the subject at hand. Barf, say something amazing about Tamen. From Threat Level Midnight, it's Tamen. How you doing tonight?
Hi, how are you?
I'm gonna Ron Burgundy this. If you're gonna write it on the thing, I'm gonna read it.
I know better by now. I want everyone to take a look at Tamen, and anyone who's listening to this instead of watching it, that's most of you. Although we do have an active, wonderful chat room, and they can all see Tamen is wearing. How would you describe what you're wearing, Tamen?
They're the horns from Tim the Enchanter in Monty Python and the Search of the Holy Grail. I even have the rabbit here too.
To describe this rabbit and why you have a rabbit.
Well, it's the rabbit.
It was the vicious beast from.
Yes, right.
You saw the movie, right?
Right. Hey, you have to watch the movie. I mean, come on. Like, if you haven't seen Monty Python and the Holy Grail at this point, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Like, you should. If you have not seen that movie, you should. Finish watching this show, obviously, but then stop whatever else you have planned after that, and watch that instead, and then continue on with the rest of your life after that.
You'd love it,
vitally
Sal.
important.
It's got everything you'd ever like to see in it. It's got knights.
Have you never seen this movie, Sal?
There's coconuts in it.
Please tell me
There's
you've seen this
witchcraft.
movie.
There's witchcraft.
Right. There's shrubberies.
There's shrubberies too.
There's the knights who
Quests.
say knee.
And yes.
And later on, the knights who say icky, 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 putang, woo, woo.
Obviously, I've seen Holy Grail.
Okay.
Why are you
But
reading
I
this on
did-
like you haven't
I
seen
was
it?
I was
This is-
concerned for you, Al. I was.
This is an
concerned for you.
audio podcast, right? That's what podcasts generally are. And
Yes.
buddies, and I was like,
I know.
okay, so like, give us your why do you have a bunny? And then you just showed like 2 teeth with your
It's
fingers.
the nasty big pointy teeth.
Right, exactly. Oh my goodness gracious! The game case is
don't.
in the chat room.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying, Cuddles. I don't know.
Listen, the game
Anyways.
case, who is no longer an affiliate of Twitch.
Yeah, he got demoted. Ripperino and the pepperonis.
Wait a minute. Am I saying it wrong?
No, you
He
got
got
it right.
promoted.
Yes.
I got it right.
No, yeah, you got it right.
So he's a Twitch partner.
Oh,
Is that how you say it?
He's got a check
Yeah.
mark and everything.
Yeah.
Cuddles is here. He's got a check mark and everything. And I'm looking at his face. Those are some pretty nice emotes. I like the emotes. Nice to see you in here. I love seeing that check by your name, man.
That's so cool.
That feels good. Oh, I love that. Okay. But Tamen, you are just looking. Okay, so Barf mentioned we couldn't even figure out how many times you've been on here. I think it's probably 5 because you have come on. Go ahead.
I'm fairly certain that it is 5 because
Why
I'm
is it 5?
fairly sure that I have been on at least once a year for every year that CTR has been a guild.
And why have you been on once a year?
Because I love you people.
Well,
Because I have to make an appearance once a year to just shoot the breeze about all things. All things.
All things specifically, one of the oldest raid teams in CTR.
Right. We have been around since almost the very beginning. I actually went back to look for our original forum thread from February-ish.
Of Threat Level Midnight.
Of Threat Level Midnight. February-ish 2014, 2013, whatever year that was. When we first started up, yeah. Mogshan Vault, Heart of Fear, Terrace Island Springs.
Don't listen.
Right.
I've there's a moratorium on the show about mentioning the bug raid.
Yeah.
We don't talk about it.
Okay.
It doesn't exist.
I'll scribble a note here somewhere so next time I come I will not mention the bug raid.
Why don't you like the bug raid, Sal? What is it, underwater?
I mean, if it was underwater, I would hate it more.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just annoying.
Can you imagine having a raid underwater?
I don't know if we've talked about this on the show, but I can't do the underwater levels. I hold my breath.
So you can do the underwater levels, but not more.
Well, I
not
can.
for more than like a few seconds at a shot.
No, like any Mario when I'm sitting here, I'm like, I'm like, oh no, I have to breathe. Remember to breathe, charts. I can't do underwater stuff. Bashir is awful.
Oh, then
How
you
do you
should
swim? How do you swim in PUBG? I mean,
But you don't go underwater. You just
you swim
like
faster when you're underwater.
yeah. I never go underwater.
Have we ever had an underwater raid boss?
Not really. The closest would have been Serpent.
Yeah, Serpent Shrine would have been the closest, but it wasn't actually underwater.
Yeah.
There was a flying around one. When we fought Alec here, we were doing the flight thing.
Well, there's been several flying around ones.
But not an underwater, thank God.
You know, the Nexus,
Even the flying ones are terrible. So.
And there has not been an elevator boss either.
No.
So that's a joke from a long time ago. Never mind.
Pretty sure the last time I died was to an elevator boss.
There have been a lot of elevator bosses.
No.
They just don't drop loot.
One of the this has been a long time, but one of the episodes we talked about how in the expansion I thought there was going to be a boss on an elevator when people kept saying they died to the elevator boss. This would have been going into Draenor. Yeah, this would have been that long ago. I thought there was a boss on the elevator when people were like, yeah, that elevator boss is just so hard, like it's killing everyone. I'm like, this is amazing. And then no, they meant that the elevator was.
Yeah.
Okay, so the people in the chat room like Gamecase and Grand Nagus are all saying, well, what about this boss? What about that boss? What about what did Nagus say? Whale Shark.
No, sorry,
Whale Shark.
Whale Shark wasn't a boss. Wasn't a raid.
It was a world boss, and it was a 40-man situation, man. It was not easy.
That Whale Shark was more shark than whale.
Whale Shark drop
he'd
loot,
get you.
Though?
But the thing is, you weren't like actively like underwater swimming around. I'm talking about like
an underwater raid
putting
type
helmets on, and you are underwater and you got to swim below the
Ooh, you could
water
have,
level
like,
thing.
a sunken ship that is a boss, like, it comes to life, like it's been hunted. I'd be down for that. I'd fight a sunken ship. There's enough of them. We've sunk a ton of them.
I like this idea.
Game case
Maybe
All
not.
my-
Nichols is saying that it
No.
was that it was underwater. I guess I wasn't underwater for the whale shark because I have water walking. But then when it would do damage to me, I would just be like, plop like halfway in the water, but still like casting stuff. So, and then I would run. But and anyway, I think that'd be interesting, and I also think I would hate it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the bug
I mean,
raids.
just think about Malagos and the
Ah,
people's spatial awareness riding around on the back of a dragon.
those
from
were
Malagos.
awful.
right.
And then put everybody underwater and drowning instead.
I'm into it. Let's do it.
Think about how just terrible that
All
would
of my Zelda instincts are giving me the big thumbs up right now. Let's go there.
be. No.
Let's fight them.
I'm
barf.
getting some tension back into my neck
Yeah,
just
right.
thinking about that.
Yeah, just thinking about Malagos, and yeah, there's nothing good can come of this. Nothing good can come of this.
No, I'm just thinking about like the bug boss and the like Scooby Doo, not the bug raid and the Scooby Doo boss that was in there, where one person could absolutely wipe your raid.
Yeah.
Oh,
And-
God, yeah.
Wow, that was a team killer.
The only
Like-
boss that I
Scooby-Doo.
remember in that raid that I absolutely hated was the one with the wind, where the tornadoes flew back and forth down the hallway.
You didn't like that one?
That was hard until you figured out the dance, but when you once like your team knows the dance, that was it,
Back then, and this was prior to CTR, I raided with a bunch of people not coordinated enough to miss tornadoes. And I love
had
those
one of those
people.
too.
I love those people to death. They are still some of my best favorite people in WoW ever, but the dancing tornadoes just
Anytime anyone ever says I love them to death, there's always the word but
Oh, yeah.
afterwards.
but
you know?
they could not dance to tornadoes.
And
So,
then there was that giant bug that you had to like plop stuff around the perimeter, and when he enraged, he would go up, and then like come crashing down. Yeah, that was the one we had trouble with.
The
there was
raid
an
that
awful
everyone
lot of
wishes to
bad.
forget.
There was an awful lot of bad in that raid, really.
Yeah, Throne of Thunder was good though.
Oh, I love
But-
TOT, yeah.
Threat level Midnight rated all of these things.
Yes. So Throne of Thunder was the raid where we were really like cohesive thing. And it's also the only raid we have never gotten, or we did not get ahead of the curve in
Oh, really?
back then, because we got to, I was the one right before him. Iron Quan? No. Was Iron Quan before the two girls or after? I don't know. We got to, what's his name, and then didn't kill him.
Lei Shen?
because- Yeah, Lei Shen. We didn't
Lei
actually
Shen.
we didn't actually get him down before Siege came out. But after that, we have gotten AOTC for every single tier since.
Lei Shen was a great fight.
Is.
Wasn't,
Lei Shen was
wasn't
great.
easy, but it was a great fight.
I'd
Yeah.
agree.
So first of all, could you please remind some of our listeners who you are, what you do, what you love, your hobbies outside of WoW, things like that. You got kids and stuff, right?
I do. I have two small girls. Well, I guess they're not small anymore. God.
How old are they?
7 and almost 10.
Oh, wow.
10. Oh,
don't
that's
know where-
fun.
10 years went of my life. I play a lot of WoW, not as much as I used to. Kind of now that AOTC is done for this tier, I'm kind of ramping down my WoW time.
Mhm.
I have picked up a terrible PUBG habit.
Oh, PUBG.
It's
You know what you'd really like is that Seething Shore.
That game is great. It really is great, and it also is so frustrating because I am like 300 hours of playtime into that game, and I'm terrible. And
Yeah.
it is still so fun to get in with 4 people who you
Yeah.
enjoy playing with and run around and shoot at people and get shot by people. And yeah, it's good to run away.
How
from,
many chicken dinners have you been served?
I probably couldn't count. I've gotten a lot more. I got a chicken dinner yesterday. But it's not as many as I probably ought to have at this point in my PUBG career. But that's PUBG for you. I do an awful lot of outside the game code work. I am the primary UI maintainer for Shadowcraft, which is a rogue theory crafting tool. It's shadowcraft.mmo-mumble.com if you want to go check it out. We just released probably 4 months ago, a ground up rewrite from scratch of the entire UI.
Really?
Threw away probably 7 or 8 years worth of code that was just dragging us down and causing us more problems than it was worth. Threw it all away. Me and another guy named Erwin started over and wrote it. Took us about a year to get it all rewritten.
Oh
We
wow.
released that to the public. It's going really well. People still report bugs. The Ravenholt Discord is a great resource for rogues. They come and tell us all the things we did wrong and all the things that are broken. BFA is coming, which means that I got the great joy the other day of deleting everything there is to do with artifacts. Because when you are a community tools writer, artifacts are quite possibly the worst thing that Blizzard has ever put into a game ever. Artifacts are a nightmare. Artifact calculators are impossible to maintain. Everything about relics is garbage. Please, can I just have weapon drops back?
Weapon drops.
Wow.
Please just give me weapon drops.
You know, I
Could
never
you-
would have considered that artifacts and relics and all that would have caused that much complexity. But yeah, now that you mention it, all the points and like figuring out what your Netherlight Crucible enhancements on your relics are going to be, that's gotta you're right, that's got to be a nightmare.
Go play with the artifact calculator on Disc or on a Wowhead sometime, or actually on Shadowcraft, because we support the whole calculator and picking traits and other traits lighting up based on what traits you've got selected. And you know, when you get over there to concordance and you click concordance once, so I'm getting more points that you can give to. It's a nightmare, and I'm glad that it is all going away for Battle for Azeroth, and we can just not talk about it anymore.
Better or worse than reforging used to be?
Oh, reforging.
Way worse.
Really?
Reforging was just a calculation. You pushed a button, and there was a side piece of code we had that did the reforging calculation for you. It did a little mountain climbing, hill climbing algorithm, and it figured out the best reforging for you, and it told you what it was. And that was all. There was no real user interaction from that side. You just pushed a button and it reforged for you.
Okay.
For all our rogues in the audience, give us your elevator pitch for Shadowcraft.
Shadowcraft lets you very quickly go in and see for assassination sub, because outlaw is a thing we don't know about. Lets you basically click on a slot and say, what is my upgrades from right here where I am currently. I highlight the item that you've got equipped, and all the items below that item in the list are bad, and all the items above that item in the list are good. It lets you do things like optimizing for enchants and gems. If you're familiar with SimCraft, it gives you your stat weights. And it's pretty useful. We've been doing it for a long time. It's based on the old spreadsheets from way back in the day that Aldriana wrote back in Wrath, taken to a degree that I'm sure Aldriana did not see it ever being taken to. We have me and Erwin maintain the UI. We have a guy named Mistler who lives in Germany who does the engine. Fiery Demise, who is one of the old rogue guard, still kind of consults with things every once in a while. But yeah.
Did you say that you don't do outlaw?
No, because outlaw is a thing we don't talk about.
Really?
Yeah. Outlaw is
You don't like outlaw. Yeah.
Outlaw is a terrible spec. So the reason why Outlaw is a terrible spec is because Roll the Bones, which is the flavor of Outlaw, introduces too much variance into your gameplay.
It does.
And you can roll really, really well on roll throughout a boss fight and have amazing DPS, or you can get absolutely screwed by it and have garbage DPS. And it, like, how is that fun? From a Shadowcraft perspective, modeling that Roll the Bones interaction is very, very difficult. There's a convergence problem with taking all of the varying states of what you can roll, using your combo points to re-roll and all that stuff that makes it really hard to calculate to a steady number every time you do it. So we just say Outlaws and supported. Sorry.
Seriously?
Maybe in BFA they'll fix it and we can model it, but right now it's not worth it.
I used to combat myself. My favorite alt is my rogue, my female dwarf rogue, who is beautiful.
Yeah.
And
I played Outlaw through Emerald Nightmare, and I regret all of it. I wish I had not spent all the. I wish I had not spent all of that artifact power way back when in my Outlaw weapon, because it got put on a shelf since roughly about the time Nighthold came out, and I've never gone back to it because it's just a spec that no one has any fun actually playing. So,
Sal, I gotta tell you, Rogue seems like a great class choice for a female dwarf. Because no one ever sees them.
Hey, come on! I've told y'all before. The reason I love this tune so much is because she got trolled when we were leveling her up. When I was leveling her up, I got not G kicked. I got kicked out of dungeons twice leveling up because of like, ooh, gross female dwarf kick. Seriously,
it's terrible.
What?
Yeah, that legit happened 2 different times for 2 different groups, like weeks apart.
I'm the elusive panda rogue. That every time somebody sees me, they're like, "Panda rogues, what? That's a thing you can be?" Yes, I can. You can be a panda rogue. We're fat but very, very stealthy.
And bouncy.
And bouncy.
Yes.
You can jump off stuff.
Yeah, panda's fall reduction along with a rogue's fall reduction.
Wow.
When you're out in sub and completely immune to falling damage, man, you can jump off all sorts of things.
That's cool. You see that panda rogue sound? It makes a lot of sense to me.
Right?
It does.
Right. This is what I'm saying. Sneaky pandas, like Tolkien said.
Yeah, the Shadowcraft thing is super interesting to me, and you've been involved in that for so long. So you are, yes, a big part of the CTR community, but you're also a giant part of the rogue community, and have been forever. That's a pretty big service that you supply to the rogue community.
I don't, none of us get paid for this stuff. It's just something we do out of fun. Even all the tools that I've written for CTR, the raid group info and CTR progress and all that stuff, it's, CTR progress was a giant effort back when we originally wrote it. Now updating it for another tier takes me maybe a half an hour.
Oh, really?
Per
That's
tier.
Not bad.
Yeah. No, and usually I'm ready the day of a tier release. Like, here's the next tier, ready, go. Have fun.
I think that's what Echelon uses for the raid report.
Probably, yeah.
I would think so.
We're kind of the de facto source for that data now that the CTR guild site has been kind of languishing in its current state for sadness. I'm kind of sad to see it, the state it's in. I'd offer to help, but I really don't have the time to help beyond the things that I'm already doing. At some point, maybe they'll fix it. I don't know.
Okay, why don't you remind everyone like what you do with that team tool?
CTR progress is the CTR, or is the raid progress meter. I don't want to call it a ranking system because I'll get in trouble from the powers that be for calling it a ranking system. I asked when we first kicked it off if it could do ranks, and they told me no. Even though it basically orders them in the order in which the progress is. There goes my daughter. But it scrapes progress every night, 2 a.m. my time, of everybody's raid progress. I pull the team data off of the CTR guild site, so I can keep rosters intact. And yeah, it's been doing it for. When did we kick that thing off? We kicked that thing off in Highball, I think.
Yes, it was. It was definitely Warlords.
Yeah, it was definitely up by the time BlackRock Foundry came out.
Right.
So yeah, it's been going now for 6 or 7 tiers, and it works flawlessly as far as I can tell. Has a bug every once in a while, but nothing failure. On top of that, I do raid group info. It's raidgrp.appspot.com. It's a tool for keeping we affectionately call it the grid in threat level midnight, but it's basically just shows you all of your group's raid statistics or gear statistics. So basically it's a giant eye level grid. So raid leaders can look at it and go, you're missing an enchant, or why are you still wearing a item from 3 tiers ago? Why are you still wearing a fishing pole, for the love of God? Kind of things. It's like Ash says, it's a way to fight over who has the high in your raid group. It really is.
I don't want to know who doesn't have gems, and I don't want to know who's wearing stuff from 3 tiers ago. I don't want to know who doesn't have enchants. I'll just get mad.
We call them out. We started calling them out more in guild in group. Like, you think about fights like, so we just killed Argus, and Argus really wasn't the biggest problem. If I like Coven, where
Coven's harder,
that little bit of extra push on Coven, killing the lightning ads before they get, killing 2 lightning ads at the same time, so you can kill them in 2 sets. That somebody missing a neck enchant. That could be the case between killing 2 of the ads and only killing 1 of them. I'd rather call that person out and be like, why aren't you enchanted? We have enchanters in the raid group. I know they have the mats because we all feed them mats. Really, like that. I know it's personal responsibility for you to have gotten your enchants, but I'm going to tell you that you need to go get your enchants. And same thing with gems. We've got gem. We've got a jewel crafter in the raid group. There's no reason not to have your gems. But raid group info lets us look at that stuff. But like Ash said, it's really so that Ash and our lovely priest Padre can argue about who is at the top of the grid anymore. And they've swapped places a couple of times this tier already. Padre is our Mythic Plus expert. He's a priest. He's a healing priest, so he is doing much higher level Mythic Pluses than all the rest of us are. He has lived at the top of the grid for long enough that somebody had to dethrone him finally. So
yeah, that's interesting. Rubber Chicken Coalition is a much more casual group, so we just make fun of each other on the DPS meters. Like actually inspecting everyone's gear is like too much work.
Yeah, we have, if you're using Exorcist raid tools, which you really should be using Exorcist raid tools in game, it's an add-on. There's a button in that too for doing inspections, and it will highlight who's missing what.
We're just not that kind of team.
We're not either. Like I try to pretend like we're amazing. We just finally got AOTC. How long have we been in this raid? So
same amount of time as the rest of us.
Very true.
Yeah, I got AOTC last week.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Sal. Everyone's very proud of you.
No, you should not be proud of me because my friends carried me while I licked the floor. and I got a
That's how I
mount.
get it.
We killed Argus with 2 healers and a Magindar hunter alive, and everybody else was dead. And we had a shift who you might also know as Boned, had a clutch taunt from one side of the room to the other right before he died. Taunted Argus far enough away from Majin that Majin could kite him the rest of the 100 million damage he needed to do before he
Oh,
died.
nice!
Kiting him
Wow.
That's
through
pretty
all those
cool.
explosions and everything, man. Oh my god.
Clutch taunt across the room. Majin turtled as Argus was running back into it, and Argus died. Yeah, it was about as sketchy as you can get it, but it died, and that's all that matters.
That's intense,
all that
man. I hope
matters.
someone recorded it.
Yeah, I think we've got a recording somewhere.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know Volstats, who is our Blood DK, has been streaming more and more, so he probably has a clip of it somewhere.
So what would you say the vibe is like on Threat Level Midnight? We've kind of been talking about you guys. You've been around since for a while.
We are a late night raid group full of, we started kind of as like this group of guys who have families and lives and can't raid at 5 o'clock in the evening like normal people raid. And so we raid at 9 o'clock at night and raid until 1 o'clock in the morning. And it's kind of expanded from there. It's a bunch of people who just kind of want to kill bosses, but and want to progress, but don't want to kill themselves doing it. We raid 4 hours at the middle of the night on Wednesdays, and we raid a couple hours on Sundays. Sundays are optional nights, so we probably have 10 of 15 people show up on Sunday nights, and even then, Sunday nights happen maybe 50% of the time. Because you'll get in and you'll be like, well, we've got 8 people here tonight, so I guess we'll do something else. But it's very chill. There's a lot of good-natured ribbing. There's a lot of people complaining about how late at night it is and how they'd rather be sleeping, or how early they have to get up in the morning. But it is also, for some of them, we have people who live on the East Coast and still raid with us. So some times of the year, it is 4 o'clock in the morning when we finish raiding.
Man, yeah, I always forget about that because you raid so late.
Yep. You started right now. So here's the other thing about Threat Level Midnight is we live on Arizona time because I'm Arizona and time zones are daylight savings time is not a thing. All the rest of you deal with it because you're crazy.
It's daylight stupid time.
Don't know entirely why the rest of the world continues dealing with that stupidity.
I don't know either.
I
had an astronomy
right now we raid
professor
8 to 12 server time. And Sunday I think is when DST switches, right? We'll switch over to be raiding.
It's coming Sunday. Yeah, we'll come back to it would be 10 right now instead of 9.
Right. So we will start raiding at 9 p.m. server time in 5 days, because it's always 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. my time, because I live in Arizona and we don't do stupid things like daylight savings time. But everybody else can switch because it's my raid group, and people are pretty much happy with that. We generally don't lose people to the time switch. I know this time switch, a couple of people, because we have AOTC, are like, you know what, I'm going to take probably some time off. We had a guy move, Majin, who I just mentioned, moved just recently from California to Texas.
Oh.
And he's like, it's going to be 3 o'clock in the morning when raid finishes the week. And that's way too late for me. I have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go to work. So take some time off, man. That's fine. One of my big mantras for this raid group is that real life comes first. And if you've got something going on, go take care of that. This game will still be here when you come back. I will likely still be playing, and the raid group will likely still exist. So,
well, now that it's been like this for a while. The teams are flexible, so you can do like normal and heroic raiding, with different numbers of people. That really, for you to go like, hey, real life. That's an obvious thing, right? And you can come back when you come back to the game. you know, you can now say that with confidence because you don't have to have, if 10, 15, 20, 25 people exactly.
Mhm.
You know, that's so great. I really love that.
We've had about 15 people fairly consistently for, I don't know, probably 2 months, 3 months. We've had a couple of guys. One guy got deployed in the Air Force and had to quit. One guy opened a new restaurant. He's a
Wow. You'll never see him
restaurateur
again.
yeah, he's a restaurateur in Wisconsin, Minnesota, somewhere up there.
Owning your
Um,
own business, man.
Was like,
Oof.
yeah, well, he already owned a bar. He owned a bar already and was rating. It had been established long enough that he could manage to make that work. And then they opened another bar or another restaurant on top of the bar he already owned. He's like, yeah, I can't, like, we had a sewer backup the other day and it, killed me for an entire 2 days while I fixed sewers, in the new building. And I'm like, go take some time off, come back later. So
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, we have guildies who get deployed all the time.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely a thing. And to be able to go, yeah, go serve our country overseas in the desert or wherever, and then it's just nice to be able to go, yep, your spot's still here when you come back.
Yep. We generally don't kick people out of this raid group unless they've done something terribly egregious or there is, like, we've had a few people leave, or I've had a few people that we've asked nicely to leave because of interpersonal conflict. That's generally if there's a person who I've had multiple people talk to me about them specifically, I will sort something with them. Generally, it involves them leaving of their own accord. Most of the people who leave the raid group have left of their own accord. I think I've had one person in 5 years who I've been like, I'm sorry, don't come back next week. Like, you're just not a fit for us. Don't come back. But it's nice that in 5 years it's been one person.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. That's also, I think, a filter of the time. The time in which you raid, you filter out a lot of the people who simply don't want to be there. Like,
Yeah, you already really have to be dedicated to the group to show up that late.
Right.
Oh gosh. Yeah. I just it would be like a non-starter for me. I just could never stay up that late. I can barely stay up till 11 these days. So
yeah, I know how that is. 1 a.m. I go to bed at 1 or 2 in the morning on Thursday mornings, and the alarm still goes off at 5:45 whether I want it or not. So
nope, I'd be out.
My wife is a saint and accepts me being grumpy as hell most of Thursday. And yeah,
that's what coffee is for, right?
Right. I actually don't drink coffee. I have my Pepsi.
Okay, listen, guys. There's something I want to say. So Tamen is this kind of soft-spoken guy, obviously, right? He's drinking his Pepsi right now, and he's got his Monty Python and the Holy Grail horns on. He's just legit just wearing them this whole episode. He's father of 2. Da da da. What we learned before the episode is that this dude used to ride rails with his rollerblades.
Yes,
I did. It's been I'm not nearly as daring as I once was. I do actually get out. I actually just bought another pair of skates probably a year ago.
Yeah.
I go to the skate park maybe once every month or so and kind of roll around.
Wow.
I'm not nearly as flexible, and falling hurts and all.
Yeah, falling hurts more now. Yeah,
it does a lot more than it used to. But yeah, that was what I did prior to getting married and having children, and actually prior to playing WoW and most of high school and all through college.
So you used to be this like skater boy.
I did.
And now you're super nerd.
Yeah.
Now
no,
you're like writing.
I was both back then. I was super nerd and skater at the same time back then. Yeah.
You're writing code
Interesting
for
process,
rogues in World of Warcraft to use for free.
right? Yes. This is what I do as a hobby.
And wearing goat horns while doing it.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
clearly
pretty much.
ram's horns.
Okay,
They're
yeah,
They are ram's horns. They're starting to hurt my ear. They're starting to hurt my ears, though.
Yeah.
That-
Well, if they're hurting you, take it. I believe that you have,
that's-
you know.
I have done my part in wearing the goat horns.
Yeah. Like the screenshots have been taken. Tweets have been tweeted.
Right?
You know.
I'm sure. I have not looked at my Twitter since I started on this podcast, but I'm sure there is. Yeah, there you go. Perfect over there. Yeah.
So have you've been to BlizzCon, haven't you? I have not, so I have to ask everyone this.
We came out, Shigeko and I. Shig is our shaman. He lives down in sorry, Ash. He's not the only one. Ash is a shaman too. He lives down in Tucson, so not this past BlizzCon, but the BlizzCon before that. Shig and I drove over Friday night or Friday afternoon, went to the CTR party Friday night,
Mm-hmm.
got up Saturday morning and drove back to Phoenix. Weren't
Oh,
even there
wow.
for BlizzCon. We came over for the CTR party and that was it. We drove home.
Wow. Was it worth it?
I generally spend my convention budget going to PAX because PAX is better than BlizzCon is. Sorry, but not sorry.
I mean, I'm not there, so, I don't know how true that is.
So I literally don't have money to spend on BlizzCon tickets. Like I spend my entire convention budget is spent going to Seattle every year. So, but we came over for the party. I met Sal in person.
Yes.
I had already met Pat Crane before that. I met Pat at PAX the year before that. I met a bunch of great people and met most of my raid group. Most of my raid group was there at BlizzCon that year.
They come pretty consistently. There's a
Yeah.
bunch of your raid team that comes.
Yeah. We try to come every year, but every year I have another event that happens right around that same time of year that I have been doing for probably longer than BlizzCon has been a thing. And so they have this terrible habit of scheduling it on the same week. So getting out to BlizzCon versus going to that event here in Phoenix is kind of a no contest. I have to go to this other event. So.
Mm-hmm.
So what does PAX have that BlizzCon doesn't have?
More games than just Blizzard games.
Yeah, but they don't have the CTR party though.
Yeah, but they have Acquisitions Incorporated, which is easily one of the funniest nights of the year, hands down. Like pee your pants, kind of laughing every single year I've ever gone to PAX. Like that night is like.
I don't know what that is.
Acquisitions Incorporated. You know what Penny Arcade is, the
Yes.
webcomic? Okay, so the guys who write Penny Arcade and Pat Rothfuss, who wrote the King Killer Chronicles.
Okay.
If you have not read those books, those are fantastic. You should read. And one of their other friends, it depends on what year it is, and a guy from Wizards of the Coast play Dungeons and Dragons live on stage in Benaroya Hall in Seattle. Benaroya Hall is this ginormous theater. It seats probably 4,000 people.
Oh, wow.
It's ginormous theater. They pack that place, every seat taken packed to the gills.
Mm-hmm.
And it is hysterical every year they do it. And it's one of those things like, we're not going this year because I have something else this summer. I can't afford to go. I am going to miss Acquisitions Incorporated this summer. But
Oh.
I'm going to have to watch it on Twitch. Because
Sure.
they also stream it live on Twitch at the time, but
It'll be funny on Twitch too.
it will be hilarious because it's always hilarious. But it's better in the theater because you're surrounded by 4,000 other absolute nerds and
Oh, sure.
the memes and everything else that occur during those shows that have been running jokes for 6 or 7 years. They've been doing this show now. It's a great time.
Speaking of D&D, I've been listening to There Will Be Dungeons.
Yes.
Okay, I haven't listened to this past Sunday's episode, and I'm not listening to this coming Sunday's episode because I need them for travel time because of obviously the Minnesota meetup. I need something to listen to while I'm driving. Okay, anyway, up until then, let's talk about it. I just didn't want spoils. That's all. I just didn't want to be spoiled.
Oh, I would never spoil it. Just like, hey guys, There Will Be Dungeons is funny and good. It's a Scott Johnson joint.
I'll have to add to the rotation.
Hey,
so
do
there's
it.
There's a Signals Media podcast actually. Pretty sure it's Signals Media. Is it Signals Media or is it Scott Johnson's thing? Called Critical Hit. That has been going on longer than Critical Role or whatever the other one's called. They've been doing it for about 10 years now. One single story with mostly the same characters from the very beginning. They play fourth edition of Dungeons and Dragons. They're on a season break right now for a couple of months, but that is like they have one of the greatest dungeon masters I had the pleasure of listening to set up a world, and Steven Schleicher,
yeah.
He and his crew from Major Spoilers do that show, and it is fantastic all the time. That's a Frog Pants show. Sorry, not a Signal Media show. That's a Frog. But that's if I'm listening to a podcast, I'm probably listening to Critical. I'm like 6 weeks behind because I don't commute anymore, and that was where I was primarily listening to podcasts when I was commuting. But
oh, sure, yeah. I commute an hour and a half or 2 hours a day, so that's how much podcast I listen to.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore. I work from home.
Nice.
Because commuting is a terrible thing. So.
Threat Level Midnight. Are you recruiting?
We are kind of always recruiting. We're not really heavily recruiting right now because we're in that stupid mid expansion, done with the last tier of an expansion, not really anything going on until the next expansion comes out. Thing. We're doing farm sort of consistently just to keep the group, doing something together. But yeah, we're pretty much always recruiting. I mean, if you're looking for a late night raid group and nothing else really fits your bill, we raid Wednesday nights. We're looking mostly for DPS of any kind right now. Probably ranged over melee, but we'll take you. Healing core and tanking core is mostly set for BFA already. So we're not really looking to fill roles there at all.
So if somebody was looking to join, how would they track you down?
You can get a hold of me in game. I'm Tamen, or you can get a hold of me on Twitter. It's Tamen CTR. Although I was actually thinking about changing my name just recently to something else. I'll tweet out
Tamen _CTR.
No,
you gonna join Team _?
Yeah, it's probably Tamen TLM if I change it. Like I changed it on Twitch the other day. Yeah, I mean, or you can get a hold of Volstats too. He is on Volstats, or we're actually all in the recruitment channel on the CTR Discord too. So me and Vol and Twitter Bunny and Shigeko are all the group officers. So we're all there. So feel free to reach out.
Well, speaking of group officers, let's talk about your raid team. This is the part of the show where you need to minimize all of your stuff and go through
them off in order.
Not in order, whatever order you want, but list off your raid team.
I'm gonna forget somebody. Tanks, I have Volstats, and Twitter Bunny, also named as Strawbane. They've been doing a fantastic job this tier and for this entire expansion. We do need a mage, as far as Suave Peanut says. The Volstats is retiring from the tanking game, and Ash is picking up the tank for BFA. Healers, we have Padre, we have Sook, who I still can't pronounce his full name. someday I'll figure that out. And Carrie Syndra, who is a tree. DPS, we've got Ash and Shig are both shamans. We've got me as a rogue. We've got Majin the hunter. We have Shift. Shift's a bunch, is a druid. We have Lurks, it's a DK. I know I'm going to forget some people. Why would you do this to me? Why would you put me on the spot? Amani, Amani, who is a mage. I am blanking on everybody else. I know, right? This is terrible of me. Equinox, who plays a warlock or sometimes plays a warrior, depending on how he feels. I have Nate. You all know Nate. Nate is fantastic.
Of course.
Yeah, you can't forget Nate. And I think that's everybody. Oh, Alistair. I forgot Alistair. Alistair is a demon hunter. And then we have a bunch of bench people who come whenever they feel like coming. And that's everybody. Yeah. I didn't forget you, Wares. Nice try.
It's quite a roster.
It is.
A lot of good people.
It's an eclectic group of people and personalities, and yeah, they're a good time.
Awesome.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much. You do come on once a year to pump up your team. You got to represent Threat Level Midnight as one of the, the premier
One
teams.
of the OGs.
One of the OG teams, So I do appreciate you taking your time, and I appreciate you taking your time, all the time for the guild and the tool that you've created and continuously maintain for us. Thanks so much for that.
I do what I can. Yeah. Like I said, it's just a labor of love at this point. Every once in a while, I look at that code. It was started as an easy idea. Hey, could we get progression for our group? Sure. Could we get progression for all of the groups?
All the groups?
Maybe. And I'd like to thank Andy Hannon for that. Andy Hannon and Zoo are terrible people for saddling me with this for the rest of my life.
Cool.
So, yep.
You felt that way.
Alrighty
You
then.
shouldn't have admitted on the show that it's like a few minutes worth of work once a tier.
It is literally like a half an hour. The hardest part is finding the background for the loading screen for every tier and picking some colors for the little chiclets that don't clash with all the colors in the background, so they don't look bad. I am aesthetically challenged, and so I always pass it by the raid group like, do these colors look okay to you guys, or do I really need to modify them because I can't see that they're terrible? And
Such charming horns. I would have said that you were a man of upstanding fashion and taste.
Right? I could put on my top hat instead if you want. I mean,
Next
not
time,
both.
next
I
year.
have all sorts of fancy hats, Barf. All sorts of fancy hats.
My Mario hat at home.
Well, cool. We're gonna bring in Ash. Thanks so much,
Okay.
Tamen, and we'll see you next year.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Thanks for coming, man.
Bye. All right. Well, while Ash is coming on, let's talk about
Hey, T.
some guild events.
Hey, T.
Yeah.
It's time for tea!
What? Time for me. For guild events, guys, make sure you're checking out that guild calendar. We do have some stuff coming up, some Nighthold stuff, and then I want to talk about something happening on March 31st. So we are hosting something where we're encouraging you to try something new. It's called the April Fool's. Oh, I had the name up here and I lost it. Let me get the name back up. While I'm doing that, I'll talk about it. But basically, that day, try and run a spec or a class that you're not comfortable with. If you normally heal, try some DPS. Fool's Rush In Challenge is what it's being called. But it's a day for you to, whether it's Mythic Dungeons, Raid Nights, or just dailies, rock a spec that you don't want to. It might be great. You might find something you like, or it might end in disaster. So lower your expectations. But we're just kind of encouraging a fun little thing, and that's being hosted by Keys. he's actually not, he's a member of the community, but not on the raid staff or the event staff. But it's an amazing idea, so it was put on the calendar, and it's kind of a great way to do something new as we start to get into this expansion a little more, anticipating the next one. All events, though, guild.converttoraid.com.
Good
The whole
evening,
week.
everyone.
Echelon,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Good evening.
I heard a rumor about you. I heard a rumor.
All right. I will neither confirm nor deny until I hear said rumor.
Start denying
Echelon.
rumors at random.
Go ahead.
Am I blushing yet?
Congratulations on getting top 100 on Warcraft logs, man.
Oh my gosh, it was no ridiculous. Forget it. No. On Scorpiron. On an old raid boss. Oh my gosh,
oh
my
did
gosh.
Lonnie tell you that? Oh, she's over here cracking up. She's like,
Oh my gosh.
she's so trolling me. Oh no.
Navox told us that actually, and
then he's trolling me.
and then Lonnie,
Confirmed.
confirmed, and then
Yep.
Barf.
Well, okay.
Showed us all the subs he has.
So we went through Emerald Nightmare Mythic. Then we did Helya, that whole raid.
Yeah.
We did that on Mythic. Trial of Valor, that one. We did Trial of Valor on Mythic. We cleared that, and then we went through Nighthold, and on Scorpiron, I just killed it, right? So easy AoE fight, but like it showed me as 100 when I looked at it, and it's out of like 158 parses or something. and then we went and did Croesus, and on Croesus, 7 of us got 100. 7 of the people in the raid got 100. So it's like I'm just shaking my head, like that's just because nobody's doing it anymore, guys. So,
well, that sounds good then, and
Yeah.
I fell for it.
Yep. So
I fell for it.
So, but there's some legitimate progression going on. If you guys want to hear
Yes, let's hear legit progression.
about some of that. Okay, we'll start with our heroic teams. We've got Room for a Moose has taken down ENR, the Lifebinder. HTX cleared all the way to Kingaroth. 9 to Midnight, Rady Brunch, Rolling Thunder, Fallen Midnights, and Banana Republic cleared all the way through Varamathras, now working on Coven. Salad Senate, TLDR Just Pull, Gruel's Gone Wild, Marginally Competent, and Project Fail Sauce all killed Coven. Project Fail Sauce also took out Agrimar, and we have 3 new ahead of the curves.
Oh, wow.
Agile, Volunteer Fire Department, Epic Eggplants, and of course Threat Level Midnight. We just heard from Tamen. So
congratulations, guys.
Congrats to all those guys.
Awesome. Very well done.
On the Mythic side, we've got Edamame, now 5 of 11 Mythic. They took out Portal Keeper, and Rectified also 5 of 11. They took out Portal Keeper and High Command. Facepull is now 3 of 11, taking out High Command.
Wonderful. Get that mythic loot, y'all.
Right. We even we were able to bring somebody along for ahead of the curve this last week too. So we're starting that up.
Oh.
Who did you bring?
So, I don't know. Who was it?
It was me, and I thought I was going to hold my own, and I didn't.
You did fine until you died, and then it wasn't good.
Okay.
Somebody has to hold
I'll
up the
tell you
bottom of the meter, Sal.
It's just that I didn't know the strats for heroic.
Seemed
that's the
impressed
truth.
when we got to Coven. Like there's so much more going on in Coven and heroic than normal.
Mhm.
I was like, "What was that? What just happened?"
It is
What
that
just
is a
happened?
crazy
There's
fight.
so much more going on. So, but it was fun. It was fun to have you, and we're gonna try and get some more folks in there soon. So.
Yeah. So yeah, I was riding my new mount the other day, and I happened last Tuesday with the raid group, and I didn't mean to click that particular button. And I'm like, man, I am not showing off this mount. I did not earn this. This was given to me. Also, I got gear, including one 980 piece.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, wow.
Yep.
I'm very good at dying on the floor. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Any team looking for that?
Hey, listen, with the chickens, I'm really good at being I'm either one of the first people dead or like one of the last people dead. Like I die within 30 seconds of the fight opening, or like I'm, standing there at the end.
I've heard some motivational speakers talk about this. Like it's kind of like when you're starting your own business or whatever. If you want to fail, you fail fast. Fail quickly. Get it over with. So if you're
That's me.
gonna run out there and try and attack somebody, it's best to just die fast, or
You're
or
describing
stick it
my
out.
Heroes of the Storm strategy, which I think explains why I'm in bronze.
Oh, so you're saying it's a bad strategy. I see. Okay.
I do just sometimes imagine that that Barf is just focused on me, making sure I stay up.
I have done that before.
I have those healers as well. I've got one over here that's got a macro for lay on hands, target echelon / lay on hands. So that's what she does.
Who does that?
And hand to sacrifice, target echelon, hand to sacrifice.
Who
That's
has
Lonnie.
the
She has that. What blessing of sacrifice?
Yeah, learn
Wait
your
a minute.
paladin spells, mister.
Wait a minute, but Lonnie's a tank,
Yeah,
It doesn't
got those
matter.
spells.
and she still heals the scrub
She
mage.
she heals everybody. She's got her raid frame set up like a healer. It's ridiculous. It's like in between taunts, she's running away from some mechanic. The boss is throwing missiles at her, and she's just like, heal that person and heal that person.
I can't imagine being a tank and,
Oh,
and
time for
concentrating
hand to
all on
freedom. Hand
healing
to freedom
people.
on that person. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Well, there you go, Lonnie. Impresses us even more.
Yep.
You married up, Ash.
I did. Big time.
So what's
Aw.
next? What are we doing next?
The
What
show.
are we doing next?
The show.
Well, we do shout outs next.
Well,
Like,
wonderful.
shout-outs.
Let's do them.
you all got your tweeter shout outs to read, and I'm waiting for some chat room shout outs. So you do the tweeters, and I'll wait for the chat room.
The tweeters are in, and we have Grumpy Old Man who says, congratulations to Epic Eggplants. They are enjoying their new mounts after AOTC last week. And Jamal shouts out to Rectified Edamame and Facepull and Casual Elite for Mythic Progress in the last 2 weeks. Great to see CTR teams staying active.
That's right. That's right.
Woo, woo. I am currently chat room shout out less, but I'm gonna give it another minute.
Nah, there ain't
Nah.
no shout outs.
Okay, fine,
Ain't no
Chat.
shout outs.
Chat room, you lose. You snooze, you lose.
Too late.
Moving on.
I have a
How
shout
about you
out.
guys? Yeah, give it to us, Al.
I want to shout out to, well, first of all, Warfront for, taking me by the ankle and dragging me through AOTC. And then, what? Also,
Just the imagery, like I'm picturing they're literally dragging you. Your hands are dragging behind. You got your Doomhammer or whatever spec you are today, and it's just making a trail in the ground as they're like, "Come on, Coven's this way," and you're like,
but it hurts to Coven. Also, I want to shout out to Doom Legend, who Barf and I ran with in that Seething Shore chains that we did a couple days ago. I just want to shout out to him because I like him and it was good to hang out with him. And I bought a book, a
Ooh.
notebook,
Oh,
so I can write stuff down on, so I can remember who I want to shout out to on any given week. I'm like, hey, this person did something nice for me. I'm gonna write that down and remember doing that.
Do you also write down bad things?
I
I gotta stop making fun of you in raid.
to hold on to the negativity. I'm trying to release. Oh, I just cracked my whole back. The negativity. So I'm not looking at anything. There's nothing like actually of value written on there. But also, did you know that the Dark Moon Herald turns like 6 or 5? You know, I should know this. It's the anniversary of the Dark Moon Herald this week on Sunday. So I'm going to be wearing a something sparkly and nice or something.
Cheeseburger hat.
No, I'm like we're gonna get Kevin to dress up in like in a tuxedo or something. It's one of those types of things.
Ooh.
And the Dark Moon Herald, I've only been on the Dark Moon Herald for like a month and a half or 2 months or something like that. But you know, now I'm on an anniversary episode, so that'll be
That's
fun,
awesome.
fun. Yeah, that show is fun. I go home early on Saturday night so I can wake up at stupid o'clock in the morning to record a show on Sunday mornings. But then I went to drag queen brunch afterwards. I went to listen. I live in Brooklyn. I took a walk after doing the show and said, I'm gonna have some brunch. And then I needed to go grocery shopping. So I walked into a random place for brunch and there were drag queens on a stage.
All right.
And you're like, great, I'll
Hashtag
have the
Brooklyn.
pancakes. Thank you.
I had the eggs Benedict
Also good.
Ooh.
with a mimosa.
Even better.
Next time I'll bring a wad of dollar bills because the way it works at a drag show is you're supposed to like hold bills like dollars in the air and they come by and they're lip syncing and they'll lip sync to you and they'll grab your money. And I didn't know it was a drag show, so I didn't bring a wad of dollar bills.
Did you know it was lip syncing?
Have you never been to a drag show before?
No.
Okay, that's
I
what
live
it
in
is.
I live in Tennessee.
Uh,
Don't think we have those.
um,
We might. I don't work in those circles.
you need to go watch RuPaul's Drag Race then.
All
Okay.
right.
And
Paul's Drag Race. All right. Is that on Netflix?
it's not on Netflix, but it's
Amazon Prime?
you know, it's on something. And you will see some amazing artists who do the makeup and their outfits and they dance and they lip sync to some of your favorite songs.
I did Snoopy versus the Red Baron at lip syncing. It was a lip syncing contest at where my mom worked when I was like 11, and I won first place.
That's amazing. Did you do it in a dress
Snoopy versus-
and heels?
Nope. I was an amateur, so I was not all the way up to those standards, but I did the machine gun action, you know, when Snoopy is like shooting at the Red Baron.
Yes. Uh-huh.
You know, I did the machine gun action and, you know, just all the, you know, moving the joystick around, you know, like I'm flying a biplane.
Right.
And the audience ate it up. Got first place. I won $50. I spent it on a Sega Genesis video game.
That's the best thing to spend it on.
Which one?
Real Driving, maybe. It was an arcade game that they turned into a Sega Genesis game. It was a terrible game. I should have never bought it.
No. It's crazy to me that video games have been the same price for like 30 years.
Yeah.
Can you think about that? That is nuts.
That's so true. That's so true. Yeah.
That is
I mean,
crazy.
it maybe went up $10, but yeah, Sega Genesis, a brand new Sega Genesis game was $50. Now a brand new game is like $60.
You know,
Some are 50, but some are 60. So
you get DLC and stuff like that. You'll pay for that for sure. You know, but games cost so much more money to create these days, but they cost the same retail. It's just
They also give you more entertainment value. Like, I've got games for the NES
yeah.
that you can beat in 30, 45 minutes. $50, $60 titles.
Yeah.
It's not good entertainment dollar, is all I'm saying.
listen, Skyrim
Oh my
costs the
goodness.
same as your crappy Sega Genesis racing game that you shouldn't have bought.
that's right.
You
And
should have bought
and
Skyrim,
you know,
you foolish fool.
I should have kept those $50 and put them in a government savings bond for 15 to 20 years, because that's how long it was before Skyrim came out. That's what I should have done. Thank you. Barf, as soon as I find my flux capacitor, I'm going to go back in time and fix that problem.
You can borrow mine. I've got one in the car.
Nice.
Of course you do.
It's a USB charger. Why is it not also going to be a flux capacitor? I'll send you a picture the next time I go to my car.
Oh, goodness.
There's Barf, ladies and gentlemen. He's been sick tonight. But
Yeah, I haven't been very chatty, and I feel guilty about it. But
this is the kind of stuff that I'll remember the rest of the week. Okay, what are the shout-outs we got?
Oh, wait. Let me check. And come on. I don't know. I can't bring it up. There it is. And nothing.
Do you have any shout-outs?
I'm going to shout out to notebooks,
Nice.
because those are important,
All right.
and Whaling Caverns, because as soon as we're done here, I'm going to finish my Whaling Caverns run,
Nice.
because that is important. Lonnie has said so.
Oh, you're going for the pet?
All of them. There are apparently 3 pets. They give you a little bag at the end of Whaling Caverns, and you got a chance at one of the pets. And there are 3 of them, and I have none of them so far. And I need all 3. Got to collect them all.
while
Gotta
you're
catch 'em
there,
all.
make sure you pick up some transmogs.
I haven't seen any of those.
Oh, dude, there's transmogs
It's all
everywhere.
Pet battle.
There's such
Pet
transmogs.
battle.
Such transmogs you will find.
I did Trial of Style. I won 3 times in a row on my warrior, and I never changed my transmog. Honey is so pissed. Okay, it came up the first time. Dark, evil. I don't know. Dark evil something.
Dark and deadly.
Dark and deadly. Okay, she says dark and deadly. And so I'm wearing this warrior PvP purple thing. It's all horns and glowy, smoky purple stuff. And so, like, first place. Everybody's like, cool. And I'm using that hammer from the Void Fell guy in Hellfire Citadel. Yeah, I'm using that Void hammer. Yeah, the Void Fell guy. So I'm using the purple hammer, and I put Chronos enchantment on it, and it's all purpley and purple smoke. Okay, so, and then we go back in Trial of Style, and then it's purple. Something purple was the theme. Epic purple. And so I'm like, not changing my transmog, just going with it. First place again. And then we went back in, and they gave us the first one, the dark and deadly all over again. I was like, okay, well, this time I want to change things up. So I changed my helmet, my chest, and my pants, and I changed the enchantment on my weapon, and I got first place again. And I was like, all right, guys, I'm out. I'm gonna give you guys a chance to win, because there were 4 of us that kept going in. They were probably trolling me, like, just full fresh Lon. He'll never know what's going on. That's right, what happened.
Barf, Turarts, shout outs.
Shout out to medicine and sleep.
Nice. You'll
Good.
get sleep very soon.
Yes, we are almost done. Shout out to the community. It's been a winter, folks, and this community has come together for many people and done some awesome things. So just shout out to the CTR community in general. All right.
I think it's a show.
I think it's a show, Barf.
Feels good, man. That's going to wrap us up for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank Navox and Geek Chic Lisa for our theme music, and to Where's the Cajun for getting the word out there for us each and every week. You can find us on Twitter at converted_CTR. Turarts is at Turarts. Sal is at Summer_Sal. Esh is at Echelon, and I am at Bartholomew_CTR. Sal, when is the next episode?
Our next episode is March 19th. Join us. Be there, be square, be loved, to, get your ram horns out. March 19th, same time, same place.
Rad. For Turarts.
Bye.
For Sal.
See you later.
For Ash.
Bye, everybody.
And for me, goodbye, everybody. Take it easy. See you next time.
You can follow the show on Twitter at converted_CTR. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Converted Podcast. And find us on our Twitch channel, Converted Podcast. And join us live every other Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern.
This podcast is a part of the Signals Media All-Star Network. For more information on this and other fine shows, go to signalsmedia.com. It's okay to stick our stuff in your ears. Really?
All right. Barf, your poor red nose.
Yeah, it comes off really well on this camera. I don't know if it's. Let me check the good one. It isn't as visible on the good camera, but yeah, that's who I am today.
I'm watching the Twitch stream. This is what I see. But yeah. We have gone really long because we started really late.
It's a little longer than normal. The actual show was an hour and 18 minutes. We started at 8:30 or 9:30 or 6:30, depending on where you live.
Yeah. I mean, we could have started earlier, and maybe we should have, but I don't think we were warmed up, really.
If one of us wasn't massaged into a puddle.
Hey, man, this is a heavy piece of equipment right here. It's heavy.
Did you see Sal's robot fixer-upper? Her super massager? Her husband replacer, which is what she called it earlier?
So I did text Dr. Pope about that. I said, I don't know what I would need a husband for now that I got something to rub my neck at the end of the day. And he sent me a one-word response going,
okay,
conversation?
That looks
Conversation.
like it has glowy, purpley, like arcane magic inside there.
There is glow. It's red arcane magic.
Red's not the color of arcane. How silly is that?
It's
Ridiculous.
purpley. It's
Little lower.
purpley. Very arcane.
There it is.
It looks a bit rude.
Are you sure you want to put that on your back? Never mind.
It looks a bit rude.
Yeah, actually, my shoulders and neck are probably a little sore from using this too much today. There we go. Yeah, that's just fantastic. Ow. No, I'm actually quite sore. From doing that earlier. Hold it in front of your chest. The boobs. They're alive.